Welcome back, guys. So now we're going to go over the table of content for our guide. So this is the reason that it's very important for you to have your styles set up, your paragraph styles, because the table of content, that is what it's going to need in order for it to generate. So I'm going to go down here to table of content. I'm going to go up here where the table of content is. Here it is, the TLC. I'm going to go ahead and add style to the table of content to the left and the right side. Since it's about food, I'm going to put a picture in the background, some photo, but I want to make sure I'm on the correct layer. Make sure I'm on photos layer, and I am. Go back into photo, and let's see what photo we like. All right, look at that. Would you look at that little girl? Let's see. I'm gonna something cute. I either like this, the wedding cake, or this little girl trying to give us food. I'm gonna go with that one. All right. So what I'm gonna do is the same as we've been doing. Let's go ahead and bring out photo. Bring her over some. Oh, look at that. I don't even have the frame selected. I mean, I have the frame instead of the photo selected, but we'll fix that. So I have her where. Okay, so now I'm going to fix my frame. Ooh, I did have the photo selected. You see that? Okay, sweet. So I don't need to fix my frame. Well, I do. I need to fix this side of my frame. Okay. All right, so I have the little girl. She's going to be our table of content queen. That's who she is. And hopefully this is over enough. I like to do that too, just to make sure. I didn't have it in the bleed, so I'm going to right click. My fitting is off, so I'm going to fill the frame proportionally. That did fill it, but I kind of want her over a little bit. There we go. Okay. All right. So now I've heard trying to feed us ice cream. We're on a diet. You know, it's just crazy. So I'm going to bring this down to maybe 20%. Nope. 30%. We'll see. Then I'm going to duplicate that for the right side. The same way that we've been doing. I'm going to bring that in and out. And this side, I might actually, you know what? This side I might go for 35 because it's already a light picture. All right. And so this side, I'm going to go with 15 like I've been doing. Okay. All right, so now I have this ready for our table of content. So what I'm going to do, and again, make sure your paragraph styles are on point. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to make sure we're active on that page. Let's go down to our working page because we're in the master page. Oh, goodness. Make sure we're, there we go. All right, make sure we're in our working page. I'm going to bring these down. And now I know that we're in the master page. I'm going to go to table of content page, which is here, and which is page 2. Notice though, see that on page 4 and 5, this image is taking over, and that's because I got to go back into the master page. This is the only part that gets kind of, you know, and I got to, in the TLC, move this photo away just a little bit from the edge so that it goes out of that other photo, and try to bring it over just a little before where it doesn't take over. So I'm just going to nudge it over. There we go. All right. So I just nudged it over just a skosh, but yep, that little bit can be the difference in your photo. All right. So now I'm going to go back into my working page. All right. And I'm going to make sure I'm on the correct layer, which is going to be the text layer. And now on the text layer, Let me make sure. Okay. I'm going to go up to layout. And sorry, I just smacked. And I'm going to click on table of contents. And now here is our dialog box that is magical for us. Okay. So the title, I'm going to name it table of contents. Paragraph style, we don't have a style set for here, but we can say TLC title, and it's going to give us whatever that default paragraph style is. Notice InDesign created this because we didn't create that paragraph style. TLC title was created by, it's a default for InDesign. And we have the options of styling these, which we're going to do in a few minutes as well. So now we're telling it what styles to include. Well, we don't want to include body, because if we include body, we're including all of our text. What we want is we want to include our headline. So you just double click on it, or you click on it and hit add, whichever way works. We want to include our subhead, so you can click on it and click add. It's going to do the same thing. And that's pretty much it. We just want to include all headlines and all subheads. If we had styles set for this already, we could click on entry style, but we're going to set our style, so we're okay. Let's see, everything else should be okay. So we're going to hit OK. Well, actually, we hit more options because we have more options down here as well. So in the more options, you're going to notice that these are at level. Pay attention to what happens to this level 2. Level 1, see how it changes to level 1? So it matters which order you bring them in as. And level 2 is our subheads, okay? And that's what's gonna determine that indent. This should be by default, but where it says between entry and number, you want to make sure it says that T. That stands for tab character. If you don't have that, click on this drop-down menu and choose tab character. You will have it. Don't choose it because it'll put it in twice, and it'll be looking for a double tab, and that'll be crazy. But you have that option. Create PDF bookmarks is going to create that on its own. And there's nothing else in this box that we need. We did need to make sure that the tab character was said. So with that being said, hit OK. What's going to happen is you're going to have a loaded cursor. Okay. So when you have that loaded cursor, let's go ahead and click inside. You could just really just do one click and it'll click. But notice it brought up pretty much all of our headlines, all of our subheads for us. It's so cool. Thank you, InDesign. Okay, so it created your table of content for you. Now we're going to go in and we're going to create the styles or modify the styles for each of these. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and reset book again because it's getting kind of cluttered and that drives me crazy in here. And I'm going to go to paragraph styles, pull it out, and you're going to see that we have a paragraph style for TLC title in here. We have the paragraph style for headline, but we have some paragraph styles that did not come in here. Let me see. Subhead 1, sub here. It did do something very interesting, but let's go ahead and style the title, and then we'll fix the rest. So style name title. Let's go ahead and basic character formats. I think I know what happened. All right, so font family, we're going to choose, as a matter of fact, you know what? We can go to general, and we're going to base it on our one of our styles that we already have. This way it follows all of our styles. So we're going to base this on, let's base it on, what's the closest style to it? We could base it on headline. My only issue is then it's going to have, well, that's okay. Let's base it on headline. So now we're basing it on headline, so it kind of looks like headline, but we got to go in and modify some of this stuff. For one, we don't want that line that we have in here. We also are going to want it to be a little larger, okay, because it is the table of content. It doesn't have to be so in our face, but we'll keep it at 30. I like that a little better. We're going to go down to indent and spacing, and space after, so space before we're not worried about. It's the only thing in there. Space after, maybe so. Maybe like right there. Looks good. Tabs we are going to worry about, but not yet. Rules. We're going to turn these rules off for the table of content because we don't need it. Graph rules. I think for table of content, that's enough for now. We could change the color if we wanted to. We could go down here to character color, and we can make it a different color if we wanted to. Let's suppose we want a pink, which we don't. But if we did, if we wanted red, we have those options as well. I'm going to go ahead and keep it the darkest color of the colors that we created and choose OK. So now we have this headline. So here's the deal. We're going to go ahead and we're going to select this first one. We're going to create a new style for this. So we're going to create a new style because what this is going to be is our, trying to think of what name we want. Because typically these paragraph styles come in with it. But there was a step we didn't check off, but that's okay. So we're going to say level 1. So I'm going to hit create new style. Double click on paragraph style, and I'm going to say TOC. We'll say, yeah, I'll say TOC, sub head 1, and it's still based off a headline, so that's fine. We're just going to go up to paragraph rule, uncheck rule before, okay, and we're going to definitely change the size. So let's say 20, maybe 25. I don't want that big. 20. And then we're definitely not going to have it at all caps. We'll say normal. Not bold for this one. We'll say regular. And maybe our tracking could be a bit, like maybe 20. And then I'm okay with that. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to set, as a matter of fact, we'll do that in a minute. Okay, I'm going to say color. Let's change this character color. So for this one, maybe we'll do, I don't want to do red. I also want to keep in mind people who have a hard time seeing. I'm going to say black, 85%. Actually, I'm going to do black. And then for the subhead, I'll do black 85%. I'm going to make sure this is following Georgia, and it is. And I'm going to hit, we'll go ahead and set tabs. So what happens with tabs, actually, let me do this real quick. I'm going to hit OK real quick. So when I brought these in, I want to see how big this box is. Okay, so the width of this box is 6.5. Okay, so I needed that. That's pretty important. You'll see why in a second. So I'm going to go back to my TLC subhead. I'm going to move it down so that it makes sense. Under TLC title, double click that, make sure nothing is selected. And now I'm going to go to the tabs. So what happens in the tabs feature, this is what's going to create our leaders as we go. So you know how table content, it has the words and then the page number, because that's what these numbers are. And it goes out to here with the leaders. That's what we're going to create. So we're going to have tabs. We want to make sure that we click one time. Listen to me. One time in this box. Just one click. When you click, you're going to see that it creates the little tab for you. Okay? That should have been easy. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do, I told you that it was 6.5. So I'm going to put an X. I'm going to put 6. I'm going to tab. And I'm going to put, so notice how now we tabbed and it's going at the 6, where the 6 is. If I wanted to go to 6.5, I could. And that would be too much. And the reason it'd be too much is because there's space that we have to take into account. That's why I went with 6. All right, and then leader, I'm going to put a period. And what's going to happen when I hit tab, make sure you hit tab, it's going to add those periods in there. You guys see that? Okay. If you wanted to get fancy, you could do 2 periods and then hit tab. You could do 2 periods and then hit tab. Ah, they fixed it. It used to be really, really cool. Space and then period and hit tab and see how it does a really, really cool spacing. So you can get creative in there. I'm just going to do 1 tab and make that work. And then when I have it looking like I want it to look with the tabs, maybe I'll play with this spacing before and spacing after as well. But for now, I'm okay. We'll see how this goes. I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to do the same for our subhead. I'm going to make a new one. I'm going to call this one TOC subhead 2. So I think the first one I made subhead 1. Yep, subhead 2. I'm going to base this on subhead 1. I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to actually apply that to, I'm going to actually apply that to that subhead. So another thing that I'm going to do, click off real quick for that one. I'm going to go ahead and go into, I'm going to move subhead 2. Move subhead 2 down. If you're having a hard time grabbing it, grab it from the right side. For subhead 2, I'm going to change the color of that one to that gray, 85%. And then I'm also going to change the size of it. This one I want it to be, if 1 is 22, I want 2 to be maybe 18. Definitely change the leading. Maybe go auto with the leading. Tracking. Maybe go 40. Not small caps. Maybe go normal. And then I want a left indent. I'm going to go in like maybe preview. Oh, and left justify, I'm just going to go left. Oops. Left. Okay. Also with, I want to make sure this has subhead 2 in it. I forgot to turn that off. And then this one for subhead 1, I want it to be also indent and spacing, left. And then I want maybe space after, be less. Ooh, a little bit though. All right, space after be left. And then I'm gonna hit OK. What I'm not liking is, let me see, let me bring the size up a little bit bigger. 22, tracking. Nope. That's not what I meant to do at all. 25. Case normal. And then I think I'm okay with that. We'll go ahead and change subhead 2, get rid of that rule. Oh, now look at that. I had that selected, and look what happened. So make sure nothing is selected. And then I'm going to go into subhead 2. I'm going to change, definitely turn this rule off. And then maybe that inset is just a little too much for me. So I'm going to go back from the indent. A little bit. I only wanted it just to indent a hair. Okay. 0.25. Maybe I'll set the space before just a little bit. Definitely set the space after. I don't know about that far, but maybe to like that. Okay. I like that just a little bit better. Choose OK. So now it's smooth sailing from here. Click on Bonbon, make that subhead 1. Oh, ooh. And the next thing that I need to make sure that I do for subhead 2 is to go ahead and set my tabs. So again, click there. It was 6. Just a dot leader. Click, let's look at it. And what you can do with this one, if you wanted it to have a little more, just be a little different than the other one. Like I can make that 575, so now it goes 7 in. I can do that as well, and that adds a little dimension to it. But okay, anyway, so I'm gonna go to subhead 2. Oops. Oh, this tells me that one of my table of content. So I'm not going to change this. I'm going to show you guys how we can correct this the correct way. So anyway, so I'm going to go back to headline, subhead 1. Oh, I guess I had everything selected. I don't know. Subhead 1. This one would be a subhead 2. Subhead 1. 2. 1. 2. And you're just going through and applying it to. Okay? So now we have our table of content created for us. There were a few things. So what I also want to do is I'm going to go to my swatches panel because we're going to do some things. And I'm going to pull it out for a second. And now I'm going to, because I don't like the stark black, I kind of like that 85% black. I'm going to create another black, make it 70%. Look at that. Make a swatch for it. So now I have a 70% black and an 85% black. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the paragraph style for subhead 1. I'm going to make subhead 1, the color of that one, I'm going to make that 85% black. And subhead 2, I'm going to make that the one that I just created, which was 70% black. I like that a little better. I just don't like, I'm trying to decide whether I want small caps or subhead 1s. Let's just see what it looks like, right? So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to choose small caps. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to increase the tracking. All right, and I'm going to hit OK. All right, so that makes me a little happier with the table of content. I think I actually do want some more spacing after the TLC title. I'll click on the title. I might also want to change the color to a real black since I'm using the other ones, and I want some more spacing. So I'm going to go to indent and spacing, and I'm going to go to space after, which is over here. I'm going to increase it. And here I might do, yep. And that's a pretty simple, pretty basic table of content. But notice I have some issues because I have my cheesecake wafer cookie, which is lowercase. It should not be. Cake muffin is lowercase. So I need to go back to page 7 and page 8 and see what's going on with those. So I'm going to go down, go to page 7. And I don't even see it on page 7. Let me go page 8. Cheesecake wafer cookie. So what happened is when I did it, I forgot to make it capital. So I'm going to make it capital. Cheesecake wafer cookie. I should have caught that because it was small caps. Cake muffin. Should have been uppercase. Cake muffin. Save that. And I think those were the only 2 issues I had with it. Let me see. Cheesecake wafer cookie, cake muffin. Everything else looks like it's following. So what I can do, I can click on this. I can go up to layout. I can go to update table of contents. And it's going to update it for me. But here's the deal. It's going to update it and it gives me the same default style. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to go up to layout. I'm going to go up to table of content. And I'm going to go back through the table of content like we had it. So now we have the styles for each table of content. You saw how it came in. It pretty much like just got rid of our styles that we had that we worked so hard for. So what I'm going to do is click on headline. Down here where it says style headline, this is if I already have a style created for the table of content, I can style it. So where it says entry style, I can click here. Now I can say, oh, well, that's my headline, so I want that to get the TLC subhead 1, right? So I have that, and I can go to subhead 1, and I can say, oh, I want this to get the TLC subhead 2, okay? And so now when I click back and forth, notice this one changes to TLC subhead 1, this one changes to TLC subhead 2. So now these styles are set for me, and I can actually hit OK, and it will update it, and notice it kept the same styles that we worked so hard to create. Okay, so I'm going to save that, and that's our table of content. Happy with that. I might put a graphic or possibly another photo because I still have that option. So if I go to my layers panel and I go to photos, I might find another photo that I like. So let me reset book again. And typically I don't have to reset as much, but since I'm using so much real estate in the recording, well, I have limited real estate with the recording, it gets a little messy and I don't like that. So let me see if I can find another image. I kind of want something landscape that's going to fit right across that bottom. I like this. Caramel popcorn. Heck yeah. Okay, so let me get that one. I get the loaded cursor. Let me bring that down here. All right. Oh, yeah. It said, oh, I guess that's the caramel popcorn, but it's got cake and everything. Goodness. Looks so good. It's a caramel popcorn cake, y'all. What? All right. So I might bring that down here. Okay. And then let me see. So if it becomes hard to grab, oops, forgot. I can hold Control on PC, and you can click inside of there, or you can hit layers, go into your photos because that's the layer that we had selected. If I lock the photo layer, if I lock the text layer so that I can get to this one. From there, so what I'm going to do is move this down a little bit, just to give that text a little more breathing room. Let me look at it real quick. A little bit more breathing room. And grab that photo, bring it down just a skosh. Okay, hit OK. Save that, hit W. Let's look at how that's looking. I'm cool with that. But now what that makes me want to do, since I have this brown photo, it makes me want to use those colors. I might hit I, I'll make that. So like I told you, you pretty much have full reign to play, and I definitely encourage you to play. I'm going to move this back in here. I don't know if it was there or not, but that's where I put it. And what I want to do now is I've sampled a color But did I? I don't know. Why are my colors not showing? Let me see. Photos. Here. Well, not quite sure why the color isn't showing. However, I will just find a brown that actually works and I'll make it myself. All right, so I'm going to grab it, click in here, and I'm going to try to find a brown, try to make a brown that works. I'm really into mixing colors. Kind of like a cool thing. All right, I'm going to add that one. Maybe I'll go tint with that one. I don't know, but we'll see. So now in the swatches panel, I can go to my swatches and I can say, and click on this swatch. I can say the tint at 100. Okay. And then I can duplicate that swatch to give you a swatch with a tint at, say, 85. And then I can duplicate that swatch. Give me a swatch with a tint at, say, 70. Now, if I only save them, this is, let me undo, sorry. I forgot. I'm up here duplicating swatches, but I need to, there we go. That one's at 100%, okay. I'm gonna click on this swatch, change it to 80, and then save that swatch. Then I'm gonna click on this swatch, change it to, oh, I think that was 85. All right, I'm gonna click on that swatch. You get the idea. Change it to, let me get rid of these. I don't need them. I don't want them. All right. Click on, okay. So I have this swatch. I'm going to put it at 100. Okay. So this is this swatch at 100%. Okay. So this should be at 100. Yep. And so I'm gonna do a new. I'm sorry. I'm going to change it to 85%, and then create a new swatch, and then change this swatch at 70%, and then create a new swatch. All right, sweet. So now I got 3 of the colors that I'm thinking about, table of content, and it's area. So now what I might do is I might go into TLC title. I might change that color to the dark brown, right? Okay, and then I might take headline 1, change that color to the lighter swatch, and then go to subhead 2 and change that color to the lighter swatch. All right, and I feel like that more represents the way that this image is with the caramel and the colors and stuff like that. So that I'm going to go with, and I'm going to let that go because I'm cool with that one. But now what I'm going to do, but now my friends, that is our table of content. So if you want to go a little further, let's say you're like, yeah, that's just not enough to distinguish that. You could either change this and make it a little larger, you know, like 35 if you want. If you get crazy, you're going to go there. So I would say 35 is a good one. Possibly an underline feature where you play with the underline. You have options with the underline too. Of course, you can make it a little larger if you want. All that fun stuff. You can change the color of the underline, you know. And you can play and have the paragraph rule effect. If you wanted to, like let's say I want to go lighter, or I want to go to this one, and I want to change the tint to like say maybe 30, and then I wanted it to be big, and I wanted to play with. The only difference in this and doing it as a paragraph rule, now you don't have access to the offset, so so it's just underlined. What you actually do? Wait. Oh shucks, that's not good for me. All right, so we do have access to the offset, and I can play with this to get it to where I want. And I'm kind of cool with that. I might go 20% with this. Yep, I'm kind of cool with that. And I hit OK. And now I have something that I feel is more dynamic and that I like, and it represents what I want to do as far as the style. And then, but you saw throughout pretty much that I would play. And that's what I encourage you to do, is to just play in InDesign, see what works for you, see what does not work for you. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I'm not. I'm not afraid to do stuff that that I'm like, oh my gosh, this design is horrible, because you play, and that's really how you learn things. You break barriers, you follow rules, you design, but then you can come up with something that you're pretty happy with. Now, in the last video, we learned to package, so you guys should know packaging by now. But when we do our index and we have our final project all in one, then we're going to package this whole baby up. We're going to look at the PDF, and we're going to be done with this magazine. All right, so that's your table of content. The next video will be about indexing, and we will have to go back through our document to set up our index, but it's going to be fun. All right, so toodles for now.